make sure y'all stay on point with
The Puncher's Point. What is good, y'all? Mario back at it again from The Puncher's Point, and we have a fight announcement. Teofimo, the TAKEOVER Lopez, is going up against the boogeyman, Subriel Matias, for his WBO 140-pound belt. This will be taking place on March 15th. However, as of right now, there is not a location for this fight. The source for this is Mike Coppinger of ESPN. Now, I want to get into a little bit of this announcement, and I'm going to tell you why I love this fight. It's because I believe this fight benefits everybody. And let me explain why. Okay. First off, I do want to give a little bit of a breakdown of the fighters. Teofimo Lopez, 21-1 with 13 knockouts. This is his third title defense. His last fight was against Steve Claggett, which he came out on top with the victory. As far as Subriel Matias, we all know he used to be the IBF champion at 140 pounds, and there was at one point we were considering him probably the most dangerous person in that 140-pound division. But then he ended up getting upset by Liam Paro. Matchroom Boxing cut him, which I thought was completely wrong. And then he ended up beating Roberto Ramirez by a TKO in the second round to bounce back. Now, Subriel Matias also used to be a top-ranked fighter. And then he left top rank, and then he went to Matchroom. That obviously didn't work out. So, first of all, this is the main reason why I think this benefits everybody. Well, number one, Teofimo Lopez in the past has explained the type of fighters that he wants to fight. He wants to fight guys who are action-packed, who are not going to run around the ring. Subriel Matias will not do any of that. He is going to make sure that he is in your face throughout the whole entire fight. He is going to try to hurt you in that ring. And I think that's the type of opponent that Teofimo Lopez wants. The reason why I think this helps Subriel Matias is because I truly believe that Subriel Matias needs to be under a banner. He needs to be under a big time promotion like Top Rank, like Premier Boxing Champions, like Matchroom or DAZN. He needs to be under those types of guys. And as of right now, he's just not under any big companies. So I feel like him coming back to Top Rank is definitely going to be a great way to get him back into being one of those stars. Now, look, a lot of people I've been hearing it. They've been saying that Subriel Matias is not the same guy. He's not the same guy that he was before fighting Liam Paro. Well, in my opinion, all right, this guy still got 21 wins with 21 knockouts. I mean, his win percentage and his knockout percentage is still 100%. So I don't think this is a guy that Teofimo can sleep on. I don't think this is a guy that the fans should be able to sleep on. I'm saying this as a Teofimo Lopez fan. I am a Teofimo Lopez fan as far as fighting ability and the way that he is in the ring. Okay. Obviously, I've had personal disagreements with like some things that he said, obviously. But as far as a boxing fan, Teofimo Lopez is one of my favorite fighters to watch because I think he's intelligent. I think he's instinctful. And honestly, I think he can hang around with the best of them. I don't care who you put in front of Teofimo Lopez. And I'm going to say this right now. I don't care if that's Terrence Crawford. I don't care if it's Tank Davis. I don't care if it's Jerron Boots Ennis. I do not care. Teofimo Lopez, I believe, can give a lot of these fighters a run for their money. A lot of them. So now I already know in the comments, well, he got knocked down by Camboso. Shut up, you're a clown. Okay, you get them all in while you can, all right? But even then, when he got beat by Cambosos, I mean, if we're gonna be real, it was still relatively a close fight. He is a a opponent that is going to be hard for anybody to beat. And so that's just the type of guy Teofimo Lopez is. And I'm gonna say this as a Teofimo Lopez fan. I am a little worried about this fight because this is an actual challenge for Teofimo Lopez. I don't care if Subriel Matias lost to Liam Paro. I give Liam Paro all the credit in the world for taking that fight with Subriel Matias because that was a risky fight for anybody, and nobody fought this guy. A lot of people said they sent him offers and they didn't get accepted. Whatever the case might be, nobody fought this guy. Liam Paro went into the ring against Subriel Matias, went into Puerto Rico, which is Subriel Matias' home, and he beat him in his homeland. That's as gangster as it's going to get. Now, Teofimo Lopez, some people could say, oh, he's taking advantage of that. But I mean, the last opponent that Subriel Matias fought, he knocked him out. I mean, TKO, second round. So Subriel Matias, in my opinion, is still the boogeyman, and he has a chance to prove that against Teofimo Lopez. So Subriel Matias, in my opinion, I've always said he's like an android. He's like a robot, the way this guy fights. It's a very awkward style of fighting. It's a style that shouldn't work, but it does. And with Subriel Matias, I think with him, I think the reason why a matchup with Teofimo Lopez is very good for him because I truly believe we get to see improvement. We get to see because one of the reasons that I made sure I looked it up before I got into this podcast, I was wondering, I was like, why did Matchroom cut him after one loss against Liam Paro, who's a good fighter? And and then when I looked it up, the answers that they gave me were they were multiple factors, but one of those multiple factors was they felt like he had lack of development. Like this was the best he was going to be. And I feel like this is a chance for Subriel Matias to kind of prove Matchroom Boxing wrong, and to kind of prove to everybody, and especially to himself, that he's developed since that first fight. Obviously, we didn't get to see it in the last fight because it ended so short, but Subriel Matias was never what you call a slick boxer. He's just not that. He is that type of guy that's going to bruise you, that's going to hurt you in that ring. That's the type of guy Subriel Matias is. And I feel like this fight right here is a great test for Subriel Matias to prove that he's improved. Even if this fight goes to 12 rounds and Subriel Matias loses another decision, as long as he looks better than the Liam Paro fight, I say that's a win. As long as he looks better than he did against Liam Paro, that's a win, in my opinion. So I feel like with Subriel Matias, this is his way of proving to Matchroom Boxing that they made a mistake of letting him go and that they could have actually done great business with Subriel Matias. Now, on the other hand, Subriel Matias isn't coming into this fight to take a loss or to see where his skills are at. Subriel Matias is coming into this fight to win this championship, to win a championship again at 140 pounds. And you're doing it against potentially the best 140 pounder in this division. I mean, that's just where we are, ladies and gentlemen. That's just where we're at. Okay. There's four champions in this division. Devin Haney, who got beat by Ryan Garcia. Obviously, we know about the whole steroids and Ostarine and all this crap. All right, let's move on from that. We got Devin Haney. We have Jose Valenzuela. We got Richardson Hitchens. And we got Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo was the first guy to jump up to 140 pounds from that whole 135-pound group, and he's the last guy remaining. That is the number one 140 pounder, in my opinion, at this very moment. So, when you look at it that way, Teofimo Lopez, great name to have in your resume because as far as accomplishment wise, he's done it all. Okay, I mean, this guy could be a Hall of Famer. He could retire now and be a Hall of Famer. Subriel Matias is already a former champion, so that's another good name that Teofimo Lopez can put on his resume. He could put that guy on his resume with the guys like Lomachenko and Kambosos and Josh Taylor. He can put him on that list and guys like Richard Comey. He can do that. Subriel Matias, for him to go in there, and if he goes and he beats Teofimo Lopez on Top Rank, Top Rank's going to want to keep him around. And it would be Subriel Matias' best interest to sign back with Top Rank. I know I've given a lot of complaints about Top Rank throughout the years, okay? A lot of people have called them mid rank, all right? I've said it's just for people with prospects. But as of right now, Top Rank banner, if they bring back Subriel Matias, I believe they can build him back to what he was, which is the boogeyman. Because I still believe he is the boogeyman. A lot of people aren't going to believe that. A lot of people are going to believe he's washed. Liam Paro exposed him. That's it. I still believe he is the boogeyman. When you are 21 wins with 21 knockouts and you are a knockout threat to anybody you face, you are the boogeyman. He's been chasing all of these guys. And Teofimo Lopez said, you know what? Let me step into that ring against Subriel Matias. Now, the question is, why didn't this fight happen maybe like a year ago? Or why didn't this fight happen when Subriel Matias was actually chasing the real champions? Guys like Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. And in my opinion, there were multiple reasons why people didn't want to fight Subriel Matias. It could have been on Matias' side. A lot, okay? There were the rumors going around that the Haney sent him a contract and he didn't sign it. There were the rumors going around that Teofimo didn't want to fight him. Shakur Stevenson had nothing but praise to say about Subriel Matias, saying he is the most dangerous guy in 140 pounds. So there's all these rumors that were going around about why this didn't happen a year ago. But you know what? It's happening now. All right. And I already know what people are going to say because we live in the era where undefeated means something. Okay. When Floyd Mayweather retired 50, that was the standard for everybody. You go into boxing, you retire undefeated. And when you take a loss, if you don't bounce back from that loss, you're considered washed. Okay. Lomachenko took a loss to Teofimo Lopez, and the amount of times that he had to prove that he was still that guy was crazy. But you know what? He became a champion again. Perfect example. there are some guys who take that first loss and fall and they drown. For instance, guys like Deontay Wilder, obviously we've seen his career just kind of plummet down from there. But in boxing, I do want people to know, doesn't mean you take one loss to a guy who is a good champion in that division. I know he has two losses on his resume, but I'm taking the Liam Paro loss specifically. Doesn't mean you take a couple losses, does not mean you're washed. Okay. Here's where I'll admit when Subriel Matias is washed. Subriel Matias will be washed if he goes in here against Teofimo Lopez and he shows no development and he gets outclassed. If that happens, Subriel Matias is washed and there's nothing you can do with him. And Matchroom Boxing was right. They're not going to put their money into a guy that's not going to provide them money. Do I still believe that they were wrong for cutting him before the deal was concluded? Absolutely. I still believe that with everything DAZN's doing and Riyadh season, everything like that, in Matchroom, I still believe that you could have made a great card with Subriel Matias. You could have put him on one of those undercards of the stacked cards. You know what I'm saying? He could have been on Better Bia versus Bivol. He could have been on Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. These are the cards that he could have been on. But I feel like Matchroom just decided to give up on him way too easily. Now, Top Rank has a chance to get Subriel Matias back and also build his name back up. And I think that's what Top Rank should be doing, and Top Rank's got a lot of young guys, a lot of young, hungry lions coming in there, especially at 140. There's some fights that you can make with Subriel Matias. If Subriel Matias is the boogeyman, he's going to go after those fights and he's going to get them. So I just feel like this is great for everybody. Teofimo Lopez gets the opponent that he wants to fight. And Subriel Matias gets a chance to prove to Matchroom that they were wrong for letting him go. And he has a chance to, become a champion again, build that resume, but also put him back into the limelight and allow his name to grow more and more and become the boogeyman again. And that's how I feel about this fight. That's why I love this fight so much. And overall, I mean, the only thing I'm concerned about is something happens, this fight gets postponed, it gets canceled. We all know how boxing is, okay? But I hope that this fight lands in either New York or Puerto Rico. Those are kind of the two places that I'm hoping it lands in because if you're gonna have this fight, have it in New York or have it in Puerto Rico. The reason why is because New York Teofimo was always considered New York a home. For Puerto Rico, we all know how much Subriel Matias loves Puerto Rico, and after his loss against Liam Paro in Puerto Rico, I feel like that's a great place to have it. And I feel like and again, this is no race thing, nothing like that, but I feel like with even though Teofimo Lopez is not Puerto Rican, I feel like having this fight in a Spanish culture place and in a place that has Spanish culture, I feel like it could sell a lot better as well. So I would prefer Puerto Rico in this specific case over New York, but one of those two locations would be great for me. And I hope that when they build this card, Top Rank does a very good job of building that card. But we're just gonna have to wait and see for that type of stuff. But overall, I truly am a fan of this fight and I mess with it a lot. I really do like this fight. This is gonna be a fight that I will predict, I will react to when the fight's over. And I believe this fight is pretty important, and I believe it's gonna generate a lot of hype as the fight gets closer and closer to March 15th. But we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens with that. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I really do like the fight, and I hope that they could do good and they can do well and they can do a great job with Teofimo and Subriel Matias while this fight happens. And with that being said, I say it's time we wrap up. Make sure y'all definitely tune into the Puncher's Point. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all definitely just take a look at the social medias. Make sure y'all definitely take a look at the past episodes that we made, the previous episodes. The last episode that I released was Usyk defeating Fury in the rematch. Definitely check that out. And overall, yeah, just make sure y'all continue to tune into the Puncher's Point and make sure y'all just stay updated with us. And last but not least, just stay on point with the Puncher's Point. What's up, y'all? If y'all love this episode, make sure y'all subscribe. You hit that notifications button and also take a look at the recent episodes that we made before this. Make sure y'all stay on point with the Puncher's Point.